Okay.
I'm going to mention something from a website, a blog site called Wolf Street. Savings rate drops to 12-year low as 50% of Americans have no savings. And it's from Wolf Street.
Here we go. All right, we're live. This is Dean and Charlie on the... where are we at? Oh, yeah. This is Crypto the WonderDog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Charlie, how the hell have you been?
How you been?
I asked you first, though.
Well, since you ask, I've been quite... I don't know. Something. I let somebody else make that decision for me. I don't even know anymore.
Hey,
whatever you think is something.
What's been going on with you today? What I know you're still you're doing some teaching, and you got some semifinals going on, huh?
Yeah. Well, I've got midterms coming up, so I do that. I try and keep students from pulling their hair out and their head off, and I mostly work with physics and math, and it's been. I love the kids. They when you get them one-on-one or get them in very small groups, they're not kids, of course. I mean, it's only when you get into your 50s that everybody is a kid. That the low 30s, they're all kids. But when you get them in small groups, you get them one-on-one, you can really do your best teaching.
Yeah.
The only I don't want to go because this is Crypto the WonderDog, but the one thing I've noticed or I've learned that the best way, the only way that you can really get something done in school is real small classes. Like if you can get them down to 10 or 12, and really good teachers, people who know the material extraordinarily well. That's it. Not computers, not brand new buildings, not elevators, not swimming pools. Just small classes, and that's the most important thing people have to have. Yeah. And so there we go.
Yeah. Well, I went to school in West Texas with a little better education system, and came out here to Texas or to California here, and I was really surprised on the lack of education that these kids get, and they just push them through, and just to get them out of school. They don't want to deal with them; they just want to get them out of school.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If you want to know a little bit more about this, so there's a fellow who's written a remarkable amount of books talking about school. And he makes a difference between school and education. They're not the same thing. Schools are basically a way of getting contracts and making money for, other institutions. Education is what you get on your own. The guy is John Taylor Gatto, and he's written 2 books. One is called Dumbing Us Down. The other one is The Underground History of American Schools, American Schools. I suggest to anybody who's out there, pick those books up and start reading them. They're fascinating to me, anyway.
All right.
And he does rip up American education, and he tells the flaws. He was a New York State teacher of the year, I believe, in 1990, something like that.
Really?
But he quit soon after because he just felt he wasn't doing a good job. So that's my soapbox. I'm not going to get any further on with that because we're wandering too far afield from cryptocurrency
yes.
and the economy.
Let's bring it back here. So I did a show today, kind of talking to a couple of ICOs that I ran across, and then I called you and I said, "Hey, check this out. I know that you've got a problem with a lot of the cryptos, because they nothing backing. But I told you about one, moriatoken, and then you had a chance to look at it, and it's gold. It's gold, baby."
It's gold backed. It's what they're saying. Excuse me, on the printed material that they're disseminating. It's a gold backed cryptocurrency. Now, as you said, we and I have gone back and forth about what's actually backing this stuff up. A cryptocurrency, from what I understood, was based on the math algorithms or the mathematics that underscored or underpin the currency. But these folks are basically saying, no, we actually have gold that supports the value of the cryptocurrency, the cryptos that we're putting out. Now, what's interesting about that is your own dollar does not have, the U.S. dollar is not backed by gold.
Not anymore.
Taken up, not anymore. It was in 1971, or I think it was 72, when Richard Nixon closed the gold window and said we will no longer be the supporting. You could take I guess you could go and take a dollar and get a certain amount of gold for that dollar if you need to. You can also do it with silver. My parents had silver certificates so that you could go and
my grandpa did too.
As well. Yeah. And I think I still have them. I know it's somewhere in the safe deposit box. But
really?
Back then, at one time, the only thing that you could actually have, the only currency or the only coin or the only way that you could do trading was through coins, was through gold and silver-backed coins. You could not have paper. So I've always asked the same question, and I keep going back to it. What supports any currency? And again, we're talking about cryptocurrencies. And if cryptocurrencies are going to be a substitute for what we have as traditional currency, then one of the ways that it's going to have to do that is by basically saying we're backed by something that your paper fiat money is not. Yeah. And that's, in this case, with this company, it's gold.
Well, that's what they say. Moria, what is Moria? Moria tokens represent ownership of royalties from the Bates Hunter gold mine. It's a real gold mine. By holding these tokens in your ECR20 or ECR20 wallet, payouts of royalties commencing at 20% of the ICO price will be made to you in Ether. Every 3 months, based on the mine's gross revenue, it's really that simple. Moria will be the first cryptocurrency that provides immediate cash flow. An actual gold mine? Yes, the Bates Hunter gold mine sits in some of the richest veins in Colorado. So this is an American company in Colorado. Its historical production exceeds 200,000 ounces of gold. Reliable geological studies of mapping estimates that there are 1 million or more ounces yet to be mined by GS Mining Companies, LLC, the issuer of the Moria tokens.
Yeah. Now, I would have to make sure that whatever they're claiming, whatever they're stating is their actual reserve of gold is actually there.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I've never audited or been involved with an audit of a mining company. So I'm guessing that whoever they're getting, whatever outside auditor, whatever institution does that kind of oversight, has that kind of experience. But, if we're going to be talking about gold, if you follow the gold, any of you have been following gold, the price in 2011 hit almost $2,000 an ounce. It was a little less than that. And currently it sits at about, let me check, as of today, it's about a little over $1,300 an ounce. So it has taken a tumble, as has silver.
Wow.
So in both cases, and there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not it's being manipulated, because of course there is, it is on a futures market, as all commodities are.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it. If you own gold, and I'm not telling people to go do this. I'm not saying that you should. But if you do own gold, when you do this transaction with a coin shop or whoever you buy it, it's between you and whoever is out there. You don't have to go through a bank. You don't have to go through any other agency. So if gold is supposed to be what it claims it is, a store of wealth, rather than, let's say, for instance, another form of investment, like the traditional forms, well, that's a direct competition with, let's say an insurance. If you go out and get an annuity, for instance, it may be that people don't want that. There may be some institutions that may find that a direct threat. And that's what a lot of people who own precious metals say, that they're doing this as a way to be able to get away from the paper system or the paper control system. Again, I I'm not saying, I'm not advocating that you go buy gold and silver, because I'm not in that position. I don't have any. But that's sort of the theoretical underpinning for a lot of that argument. So what I'd love to do is be able to get these folks on, any of their any spokesman for this particular company, and ask them where they think the value of gold is going to go. Because if in fact gold, like I said, it's fallen about 50, or not quite, but 40% from its high in 2011. I would think that the value of the cryptocurrency that they're issuing is premised on the value of the gold that they're getting out. So the value of the gold, let's say, for instance, crashes or continues to fall. I mean, it seems to have hit a plateau in the last few years. But if it continues to fall, then what happens to the value of your cryptocurrency? So, there is going to be, if people believe in that kind of conspiracy, there is a possibility that the value of your cryptocurrency will go down, as are most of the currencies or cryptos going down now.
Yeah, everyone's freaking out right now. What's going on? Here we are with a $8,000 Bitcoin, and everything's following right in beside them. There's a couple that have a little bit of a strength, but just pretty much all across the board, they're all just going down, 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 and everyone's going, well, hold on. Well,
that's what
have
they tell
to
you with the stock market. Yeah, it's have strong hands and hold. Is buy and hold is which the sort of the theory or the invocation that a lot of brokerage firms tell you. Buy it if it's a good stock and a good company, just hold it, it'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that the top 10, I think, the top 10 of these coins, I think they're showing stability. They're not, they're not just going down to nothing. They're still holding in, there's a couple that are, 1,000 that have been 1,000. There's a couple that are, a couple $100, a couple $1,000. So they're holding their own. Ripple.
Yeah.
I don't understand this. I mean, they've so many good things have been coming out on the news about Ripple, and it's on 80 cents now, and it's 5 cents more than when I bought it, and it's gone, went up to $3 and something. I made a nice little nest egg out of that, and was able to buy into a few of these ICOs that I haven't seen come fruition yet, but it's soon. It'll come in soon. So
yeah. Well, you hope so. And, I got to tell you something. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, and this is the reason I kind of got out of gold and silver and the precious metals, they began to rise. They hit, I think silver hit, because my parents bought quite a bit of silver, the actual bullion. And I think they bought it at about, this was about 79, because they began to see that at the time, there was a lot of speculation, and the market was beginning to explode in the precious metals. I can't remember how much gold went to. I think it went close to 1,500 or 1,400. I mean, it had an explosion. But silver hit almost $50. And then immediately after that, some changes came into the futures market. I guess they began to change the margins as to how much you could, and this had nothing to do with my parents, because they were just buying the material itself.
Yeah.
But a lot of we're talking about the speculative market, the futures market, changed some of their rules, and all of a sudden the value collapsed. And it collapsed very, very quickly. Almost as fast as it went up, it went back down. And it stayed down for decades. I mean, my parents are both gone, and they never made their money back.
Oh, my God.
And it's not that they put a lot of money, but it was depressed for decades. And only recently has it been able to move. I mean, I think silver at the time is about 17 something an ounce. Well, my parents bought it at, I think, about $6-7. Before it blows up. Yeah, prior to jumping up to 50. I know they got out at some of it at 30 or 40. I can't remember, but they didn't lose everything. They made some profit. But the point really is that they're both gone. And it took decades before it ever came back to anything that even remotely resembled what it had hit in 1980, 79, 80.
Yeah.
So this is the reality of any kind of any kind of play like this.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're talking about currency. We're talking about something that is supposed to rival the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is supposed to be stable. It's supposed to be predictable. If it's representing the currency of a strong, efficacious economy, well, you're supposed to be able to hold that, and it's supposed to be safe. We're finding out that maybe it's not. But
yeah. Well, maybe Moria will join the two worlds together here. Platform for precious metal extraction. It's interesting. What was I? Man, just lost it. Had a great thought, just fell out of my head. That's the thing about live TV. Okay, so Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that's gold. Okay, returns. This token has a unique quality of paying royalties to token stakeholders. So I'm liking that. Volatility has been taken out of the picture. Is that true? Has volatility been taken out of the picture?
I'd have to really. I'm not sure that's well. I mean, they're saying that, but I would have to find that out for myself because the spot or the futures market for the precious metals, including gold, can be extremely volatile.
Yeah.
As I said, it actually had hit in 2011 nearly $2,000, and it's residing at 1,300 and. Okay, let me take. I got to bring this up. I have my charting right here is getting wacky on me, so let me bring this up.
Yeah, Charlie, you're bringing that up for yourself. We're not able to see it over here, but we trust you.
Yeah, but I have to. I'll tell you what it is based on. Again, my favorite website to go to, my favorite site to get these kinds of quotes is investing.com. And let's see, my phone decides not to work very well. Okay, it's about 1350 or 1315 right now. So, from its high, it's lost a substantial, percentage of its worth. So, take it, it's a cautionary tale. So again, if they're going to claim that this was, they have to explain how volatility is being taken out of the picture.
Yeah, it's interesting that I just pulled up investing.com here for us. What do you think I see right here at the top of the page? Japan's FSA orders all cryptocurrencies exchanges to report on, and this is a story on cryptocurrencies on investing.com.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I've never been on this site, so I don't know how long it's been reporting on this kind of thing, but here we are. Japan's FSA orders all cryptocurrencies exchanges to report on system risk management.
Yep.
Japan's financial regulator said on Friday it had ordered all cryptocurrency exchanges to submit a report on their system risk management following the hacking of over $500 million of digital money from CoinCheck. There you go. The regulator, the Financial Service Agency, said the order was given to 31 exchanges, including CoinCheck, which had already been ordered to do so.
Yeah, so it begs the question, just how safe are these? They're not supposed to be hacked. They're supposed to have some sort of safety measures because of the way they're constructed. Yet here you go. Yeah. Japan had this hacking issue. So it tells you that's not necessarily the case with, let's say, for instance, currencies. I mean, the dollar or the currencies around the world. The funny thing about money here or anywhere, but especially here in the United States, it's not necessarily the printing press that you get the money. It's not like the Treasury goes out and prints up a whole lot of dollars and just drops them into your mailbox. The way most money is created is through loans. You go and borrow money, and you lend it into the economy. So your credit card, your credit card debt is basically the way money is created, because it's used to purchase things. Your auto loans, your student loans, any of these types of things that create debt. So money in many cases here in the United States is debt. It's a debt-based currency. Here with cryptos, there's supposed to be that element's supposed to be factored out. It's premised on some supposedly unhackable technology. Well, Japan's proving that that's not necessarily the case.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm on here. Tell me where I would find the precious metals.
Okay, go down to real-time commodities. Okay. There's a tab. Yeah, there's a tab below the black the black header.
Okay.
And
real-time commodities. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so gold. There we go. Gold. Last 1351.10. Hi, 1353. And so it's changed 3.30% today. Is that right? Today?
So yeah, that's what I've got too, and that talks about the volatility inherent within any futures market. Because again, you're taking a look at the futures of gold. This is what speculators are claiming is, that they're forecasting or foreseeing, or they're willing to buy gold at. So, and remember, gold is set in both New York and London. There's a gold element that says there's a group of banks that get together and the representatives, and they said, well, this is what we foresee as the bank, the price of gold at a certain time.
Yeah.
So, so there are other ways or arrangements. There's a spot market in gold, and there's a futures market. But the point is, for Mariah to say that volatility has been taken out of the system, it's not in the question anymore. They're going to have to explain how they've been able to overcome this system or this mechanism that kind of sets the price of gold. And it would seem to me that they're saying that gold is going to be a stable. If everything, the cryptocurrency is premised on gold, or on that commodity, well, how can they tell me that or tell anybody for that matter, that gold will be stable? That commodity, that premise, that basis of the cryptocurrency is going to be stable for however long it takes.
Yeah.
So, but yet again, it's like you said, it answers one of my questions, and they're going out and attempting to answer it. So, if this is the case, I guess if you were going to get yourself involved in this particular Bitcoin, you'll have to take a look at the commodities market. Okay,
well, there you have it. Charlie, you're a smarter man than I am, and I appreciate you telling me like you just told me, because I would have never figured that out. All right, so the next thing... Go ahead.
Dean, just to let you know, most Americans don't have any clue about this. I mean, you're kind of beating yourself up, but you shouldn't, because financial... I think one of the things that's so lacking in what we call the American curriculum is any kind of financial education. I mean, time and again, I talk to former students and, college students or people who come out of college, and the one thing they keep saying is, man, I wish there had been a class in high school on personal finance or money in banking or anything to do with, finances and how debt is made and where money comes from. He said, that would have helped so much in my life if I had known the difference between a credit card and what those things mean in actually using cash. Time and again, people keep complaining about the lack of any sort of personal finance or financial education for people, for high school students. And there are only a handful of states in this country that offer any classes at the high school level.
Yeah.
So for you to beat yourself up over this, you shouldn't, because really none of us have been exposed to this. I have only because
unless your father was a banker, or like you were a CPA, and you had your finger on the pulse. But it's I was interested in playing with Tonka trucks and rocks.
well, yeah, but wait a minute. That's I was too, up to a certain age. I hope you weren't 25 and still doing that.
That's what I meant.
Well, there you go. Well, I got to tell you.
Well, you met me when I was an actor. I mean, you met me when I was playing. I was still playing. That's all I want to do. I just want to play.
Right.
I don't want to work.
Apparently the director that we work well. I don't want to say too much, but a lot of the people we worked with in that business didn't want to work either. I don't know what they were trying to do, but
no.
But
those are good ideas, though. Getting out of work. So, okay, moving on. Okay, CoinDesk, one of our favorite sites to go to find the news in crypto. And we keep going back to mainstream companies. UPS might be making a locker that accepts Bitcoins. Global shipping giant UPS may be looking at accepting Bitcoin through an item exchange locker service. Newly published patent filings show. So they filed a patent on this. UPS is eyeing a system of locker banks that can take digital forms of payment, according to an application released by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, on Thursday. In addition to traditional payment systems, the patent filing lists Bitcoin as a possible currency to pay with.
Well, the headline is kind of misleading. It says UPS might be making a locker. Well, okay, I understand that, but I'm not sure the headline follows what the text is actually saying. The text is actually, from what I understand, saying that they've already filed a patent. So it's not that they might be looking at it; they actually are looking into it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so the headline is more than a little misleading. And because when I said that, well, that doesn't mean anything. They might be making an offer, or I might be dating Kate Upton. But that not only until it actually happens is it true. So but
be careful. Donald Trump said that he might be president.
And look, it happened, so you never know.
Hey, I'm very, very positive on Donald. Don't worry. Okay.
Well, you may be, but I'm saying if you can like say, I guess he's Donald and he's got a little bit bigger bank account. But my point is, the headlines just it doesn't seem to follow. It's
no.
And it just so again, it goes back to what we've been mentioning several times. A Canadian pension fund is looking into cryptocurrencies. Venezuela has stated that they will, which involves, Venezuela's major shareholder of an American marketer of petroleum, Citgo. Starbucks has said that they will use cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin.
But not Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin.
But here UPS is actually looking and creating and done research into using a crypto.
Shaking hands with it.
Bitcoin.
They're shaking hands.
Yeah. So how? Yeah. Again, there's this dissonance. I know the guys that speculate in futures markets and the things that we're looking at that set the price for Bitcoin are a different set of people than the ones who are like running companies such as UPS. But just as with this headline, it's a bit of a disconnect between the actual text. There's a disconnect here.
Yeah.
Why are more and more companies looking into this technology, and why does the price keep falling? And I don't know.
Well, I'm looking here. Bitcoin $8,677 at current time right now, and this is 9:30 on the West Coast. On what is this, Thursday night? Man, time's flying.
Thursday night.
Ethereum, she's pretty regular. I like her. Or I'm going to call her. Maybe him, but I'm going to call it a her. 956 and 91 cents. Bitcoin Cash, a little bit troubled child. Litecoin, I think it's kind of the redheaded stepchild. And then Ripple, it's everyone loves them, but not giving them much love today. 85 cents. So
all these other currencies that you're talking about don't have the sort of backing that Mariah is claiming that they're going to be backed with, right? None of them have said that we use gold or any other commodity to back the value.
No, this is all based on technology. And Ethereum, there's a lot of other currencies that are based on Ethereum's technology. And I think that's why that one's going up. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, just enough to sound like I know what I'm doing, and enough to get you excited about it, to bring you into it. And Bitcoin Cash, there's a couple of things. Bitcoin Cash. And I don't know the difference other than the one's $8,000 and one's $1,100. So. Funny story. Yeah. When I first started doing my first purchase of Bitcoin, so I went and got my silly little Bitcoin wallet. Right, I went online and I saw the craziness. It was $6,000. $6,000. I'm like, oh my god! I almost bought it when it was 5 cents. I'm an idiot. So I went crazy, and I just went up and just searched Bitcoin. I thought Bitcoin was the only thing. I didn't know there was other things going on. So I searched Bitcoin, and I found the Bitcoin wallet. And in Bitcoin wallet, they don't tell you that inside of there they have Bitcoin and Bitcoin Core, and Bitcoin Cash wallets. Well, so I went and bought myself. After jumping through 1,000 hoops, if you don't know how to buy a Bitcoin, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And I don't, Charlie, have you even bought any cryptocurrency yet?
I have not bought cryptocurrency. My son has, but I have not.
Okay, so I learned in a couple of days how to do this on my own. I didn't have any help at all. I just went through, and so I went and I put in my personal wallet information. I went to what everyone goes to, coin, what the hell is that? Coin, oh my God, I'm having such a bad time remembering things today.
CoinDesk?
Not CoinDesk. Oh my God, why can't remember this? Coinbase, man. Which everyone there, people are hating on Coinbase right now because of the fees. But I went to Coinbase, and that's where you can actually put in your credit card or your ATM card, and you can, after jumping through 1,000 hoops with them, and you get confirmed on that you're actually who you say you are. You can put in some money, then you go over and you send the money, buy it through your little wallet thing, and I'm sitting there, I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And there's no money showing up. And then I go, okay, so the next day I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And then I'm freaking out. I'm like, wait, that's a couple $100. I'm not a rich man. It's a couple $100 gone here. So I send a message to the people at the Bitcoin.com wallet, which has nothing to do with Bitcoin, by the way. I thought they were the same. They're not. Bitcoin.com is not Bitcoins, by the way. I didn't know that. They have nothing to do with each other. They just got the name Bitcoin.com. And it's very hard to get somebody to talk to through there. And I finally got somebody. I'm like, hey, man, I sent all this money over here. I put it in my Bitcoin wallet, and it's not showing up. Where's my Bitcoins at? Where's my Bitcoins? And he sends back, and he goes, did you put it in your Bitcoin Cash wallet or your Bitcoin Core wallet? And I'm like, I don't know. So he walked me through it, and thank God it was actually in my Bitcoin Core wallet, not my Bitcoin Cash wallet. So there was a bit of confusion there. And and since then I took my Bitcoin out of there, sent it to my my other wallet, and that's where I started doing all my trading, was from the other wallet. And thank God, because it was just too much work. I still don't understand why they have all those little wallets over there. But now I've got wallets everywhere. I got wallets for this. I got a wallet for that. I've got trading wallets. I've got lending wallets. I even got some mining wallets. Man, I'm out there, baby. I'm living it.
Well, the point, I guess, and you asked me why I have not gotten involved, and it's precisely because of this. I need to understand.
Because your buddy doesn't know how to do it.
But it's not that. It's not that. It's not just that. It's the fact that I don't understand. Again, if I'm on a journey and I'm trying to figure out information, before I make a commitment to anything, and a substantial amount of my money, I have to know a lot about that. I do have to understand everything I can regarding the investment I make.
Well, that's why you're smarter than me.
There was something that I was told, I was told decades ago when I was, a callow youth. And so it has to be a long time ago because I was young. So then they said, I said it earlier, if you don't understand the investment, if you don't understand the underlying mechanics or mechanism of that investment and how it makes money, you can't you can't get involved.
No.
It's funny. Remember Enron? The company began to fall apart, or it was discovered it had no close when financial analysts in a company call one time. What happens is many financial analysts will talk to the principals of the company when you get your business and everything else. It's a lot of times it's premised on what financial analysts have talked about, or with the company itself. So at one of these regular meetings, several analysts began to ask Enron, "Wait a minute, I don't understand your business model. How is it that you're making money? We can't seem to figure out how you're generating any revenue." It was that simple a question that they asked, and Enron from then on began to fall apart because they couldn't answer the question adequately. So, and this was a company that was supplying quite a lot of the energy into California. I remember I was living in San Francisco at the time, and San Francisco went dark because there was something to do with the futures market of the energy supplies that had somehow been manipulated or altered by Enron, and San Francisco went dark.
Wow.
And I was in the city. I was working at the time, and I was in the city, and all of a sudden, the Golden Gate Bridge and all of the Golden Gate went dark. And you're sitting there thinking, what the hell? And the point really is this: is that even Enron couldn't explain how it was making its money, and the financial analysts couldn't figure it out. So they said, "Well, of course we can't recommend you. I mean, if we can't figure it out and you can't explain it, well, why are we getting involved?" Well, that's my whole point, and that just reinforced the fact that what I had been told by that professor years ago, saying, or whoever it was that was my teacher, or whoever it was who told me, don't invest in something you can't understand. Enron was running this scam and this scheme, and even the brightest guys that follow these kinds of things, that make a living and are paid to understand how companies work, couldn't figure it out. So, as I said, and I'm trying to tell the listeners or to whoever's watching this show or going to hear this later on, you and I are just like they are.
Yep.
You and I are trying to figure things out. We're looking to help. We're trying to fund our own retirement. We're trying to take things into our own hands, trying to get an understanding of how things work. And so we're on this quest, I suppose. And we're trying to find things out and have questions and trying to answer them as best as anybody else can. So we're trying. That's why we started this channel primarily because we couldn't figure things out and things weren't available to us.
That's right. I mean, oh my God, Charlie, you should have seen the websites that I was going to and the YouTube channels and the podcasts. And man, I narrowed it down to 3 or 4 that it seemed like they knew kind of what they were talking about. And I got to give a shout out to the bad cryptocurrency guys. I listen to those guys all the time. I think they're probably the guys that I would go to listen I think I've learned the most from those guys. And they have a great guy on there, Ronnie Moaz, and I think we'd love to get him on the show, but he seems to be like the guy.
Those two guys, those two guys though are just like us.
Yeah,
they were pretty much not understanding any of this as well, and so they began a channel and they basically put it out there to have anybody who understood better than they come on and tell them something. Yeah, and that's what we're doing ourselves, and but we don't have, just to put these disclaimers out there, we don't represent anybody. We're not getting paid by any. So at this point, we don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
We don't have tens of thousands of dollars coming into our into our account from ICO
Not
from
yet.
anybody.
Not yet, because I know that there's
maybe not ever.
There's a
And
company
that's
out
why I
there waiting
started.
to invest in us because we got our finger on the pulse, man.
We're wonderful, and
We are.
everybody should be giving us.
God,
You're not as wonderful as me because, after all, who can be this wonderful?
Did I
But
tell
the
you how
point
much I love
really
me
is-
today?
Well, I'd rather have my wife love me as much as me, but I can't have everything.
If my wife only knew how great I am.
Have her call me, and I won't tell her.
Oh,
but anyway, the point is that's why we have this channel. That's why we're doing this, and that's why we're hoping to get it going.
That's
now,
right.
Again, you're just having something on the screen that says Samsung confirms it's now making cryptocurrency mining chips.
Yes,
One of the largest
Samsung,
companies.
another big name.
Yeah.
Another big name.
Again, here it is. They're saying that they are ratifying by, putting in their investment. They're actually investing in research and development into this technology. Samsung is a giant Korean company, if memory serves. And anyway, the point is, people know who Samsung is. They produce product that we use.
The South Korean tech
giant.
Tech giant.
And here they're saying, yes, we ratify this to the point that we're willing to put in some of our own money to see where this goes.
Samsung has confirmed it is now manufacturing specialized cryptocurrency mining chips after reports to the effect surfaced this week. South Korean news outlet The Bell first revealed the news on January 30th, stating that Samsung was kicking off manufacturing in January, aiming to provide application-specific integrated circuits, ASCII, to an unnamed Chinese mining firm. So it's still going to go back to China, but they're manufacturing the chips to go into these computers that are mining. And, that's pretty big. I mean, I just saw something that was a company that, and I thought about this too. I'm like, why aren't they using solar energy, sticking these suckers out in the middle of the Nevada desert where there's no trees around, and put a couple of solar panels up there, a couple of IBM TRS-80s, and get this thing going.
Yeah.
Okay, the South Korea tech. South Korea tech giant, however, did not provide any details on its customer or the chips, TechCrunch states. However, in its recent fourth quarter and fiscal year 2017 results report yesterday, talking about the growing demand for cryptocurrency mining, Samsung said that in 2018 it will provide 8 nanometer and 11 nanometer processors to meet the market's needs, as well as start a risk production of 7 nanometers. I don't know what a nanometer is.
It's a tiny. Well, a meter is a length, so we're talking an infinitesimally small dimension of the product that they're creating. It's just tiny.
Tiny.
It's really, it's just extraordinarily small.
Yeah.
But the point is, somehow people are beginning to say that something is wrong with the dollar. Something's wrong. And the funny thing is that the Treasury Department just came out and confirmed that their policy is going to be a weaker dollar. Robert Munchin, who's the Treasury Secretary, and he's their mouthpiece, and he came along and he said, yep, that's going to be what we want to do. Now, think about what that means. A weaker dollar would indicate that whatever price, let's say, for instance, somebody gets Social Security or they get an annuity or they're on a fixed income, the dollars that they're getting, if in fact this is what the government, the Treasury is going to attempt to do, is going to be worth less and less as time goes on. So we're going to drive people poorer. Now, the reason that they're doing this, why they want this weaker dollar, is that they want to begin to get the export economy going here in the United States. They want us to start sending out more goods to places around the world. Okay? Well, the fact is that there was something called NAFTA that was passed in 1992, which was the North American Free Trade Agreement, which made it easier for companies to offshore their production facilities to various countries that signed on or were participants in this agreement.
Yeah.
So you already have a policy in place that says, no, we're going to try and encourage people to leave and manufacture overseas. And the thinking was this is how they marketed it. If we take our dirty industry, put it in, let's say, wherever it may be, then those people are going to get richer, and they're going to be able to purchase more of our goods when the time goes along. So, in other words, we were trying to build our own market. We had pretty much run out of people who were willing to buy stuff, so we needed to start encouraging other countries to develop their economies to the point that they could start buying it. Well, how well has that worked? And that's why I guess Donald Trump kept talking about NAFTA and doing away with it, because I guess in his mind, or at least the people he was talking to, they said, well, this is one of the policies we want to follow. Because it's kind of a schizophrenic issue that you have here. Either you're encouraging people to leave, or business to leave the country through NAFTA and through these policies, trade agreements, but yet you have the Treasury Department that's saying, well, no, we're going to try and strengthen or weaken the dollar so that we can get exports, so we can, bring back that industry and start building, and exporting to those other countries. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure those countries have gotten wealthy enough to be, big marketers. And there's one, or being a big market for us. But there's one other thing I wanted to leave you with before I have to go. There's an article on Wall Street. If you can pull this up, it's wallstreet.com. And I want our listeners and people who are viewing this channel to look at this. Their headline reads, "What does it mean? Saving rate drops to a 12-year low when 50% of Americans don't have savings." So in other words, Americans don't even have the capacity anymore to purchase the goods, or not so much they don't have it anymore, but it's been lessened to the point that they don't have the capacity because they don't have any savings. Americans have gotten poor. So this whole idea that if we send out these goods based on these trade agreements, that they're going to come back to us, and we can save money, well, it doesn't seem to be working very well, because saving rates have dropped to a 12-year low because Americans don't have any money. We're not making the kind of money that allows us to keep buying stuff from around the world. And so,
what was that? Sorry, Charlie. What was that article you were reading? When was it published?
It was published January 29th, 2018. So just a day or so ago. It's on Wall Street. And I'd like people to read this. I go to Wall Street quite a bit. I like to write. His name is Wolf Richter, and he's got a good way of writing. I appreciate the way he writes and the way he thinks. He's very analytical. And
sorry,
I'm
I'm just not able to pull it up here. I'm getting all the way down.
I understand.
To the first
but
here,
it's
but
basically saying that personal outlays and more importantly, the savings rates of Americans are almost nil. We just don't have money. We have no savings.
No, we don't. Including me.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So that's why I'm saying a lot of our viewers or people who are going to be following our channel are in the same situation as you and I are. We're no different than they. And that's what I keep thinking. Something's wrong with our currency because something is wrong with the policies, the fiscal and monetary policies of the United States. We're sending out too many mixed messages that don't make a lot of sense to me, and apparently to other countries around the world, if they're saying, we're going to take a look at these cryptocurrencies as an alternative to doing business through the dollar. I mean, there's something here that has to be explored and has to be debated and talked about. And that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. Well, before you go, Charlie, how much time we got you left with you here? Can I get a couple more minutes with you?
Yeah, I can get a couple more.
Okay. Okay, so we talked about the state, what was it, a couple of days ago, the state congressional, whatever. Illinois eyes blockchain for IDs and public assets management. So here's another state, Illinois, that is gonna take on the blockchain to use that technology for IDs and public asset management. So they're trusting their own assets to the blockchain.
Yeah.
And Illinois' government task force has Illinois' government task force has outlined a potential direction for applying blockchain technologies in the state's intergovernment operations. According to a report filed on January 31st by the Illinois Blockchain Task Force to the General Assembly, the state is eyeing the use of blockchain technology to at least manage state residents' identifications, as well as tokenizing assets in the public sector to improve efficiency and reduce entitlement fraud. Look at this. They're using blockchain to prevent fraud.
Now, the thing is about Illinois is in deep financial trouble. It's one of the most, I'm not going to say mismanaged, but it's one of the most debt-ridden states in the union. In fact, they were the ones who were initially talking about getting rid of their but severely altering the public pension for the They had problems up to about a year ago, actually making payments. In many cases, they were issuing IOUs because they just didn't have enough money.
Oh, my God.
I think it was Illinois.
Isn't that the place where they were selling the seat? That one guy was trying to sell his seat on the Bogdanovich?
What?
Or was it... what the heck was that guy's name? Didn't he go to jail?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yes, exactly. I know who you're talking about.
Bogdanovich?
Yeah.
The guy with the hair?
Yeah. I can't remember. He was the governor, wasn't he?
Something like that. He was selling his seat or something. I forgot. But yeah, it was bad dude.
Yeah, he was incredibly corrupt. Yeah, he was just remarkable. But apparently this is kind of a norm for much of Illinois history. I mean, there's a reason why Al Capone set up shop there. But anyway, the point is, Illinois is in serious, and what they're doing here, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, is they're trying to cut costs, and they're trying to cut labor costs. Some way they're going to try and get rid of the bureaucrats but the workers that they have, the public employees that would be doing these functions.
Yeah.
And they're saying we can probably do it easier technologically and just like everything else and get
put the blockchain on it. Let the blockchain handle it.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about Amazon now has they're going to open a fully automated store in Seattle.
I saw that, and I saw there was a guy. One of the first things I saw about that was a guy that comes outside and shows how he stole a pack of tampons or something. He was bragging about stealing tampons. That's awesome. So even Amazon, the monster that it is, couldn't even stop a man from stealing tampons.
But the point really is that Amazon has said that we're going to have this fully automated store, no employees, nothing. And if they can do this, and it's really the gut punch for retail. Retail, the retail industry is just reeling. I mean, all anybody has to do is take a look at Toys R Us, which is closed up, Sears, which is, I think they shut down most of their stores in Canada, and they're shutting down, several hundred more here.
Yeah, I think the one over here in South Coast Plaza is still running. I was just in there the other day for Christmas, but they're taking away the flow at the check stand that you have a repertoire with. That you go in, you say, "Hey, how you been? How's your kids doing?" And you get a little jab back and forth. They're taking that a lot away. These millennials, and they've got their nose to the damn cell phone, and they don't want to look up and say hi to anybody. My daughter's like that. She won't look up and say hi to anybody.
But the thing is, when you and I were growing up, there were certain places you always knew you can get a job. I always knew I could get a job at the post office. I mean, if worst came to worst, I could always find a job at the post office. It may not have been a full-time job. It may have been seasonal or part-time, but they would generally hire you. The other place, or one of the other places, was Sears.
Really?
Back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, yeah, I could always, especially in the 80s when I needed work and I needed part-time work, I could apply, and generally they would hire me or hire people. Because they were growing and they were huge, and they generally had turnover, but they didn't. They just needed people.
Yeah.
those are gone now.
Yeah.
Those places, you can't get jobs at the places 30 years ago that you were almost guaranteed to get some employment.
Well, that's what, and I saw this and I kind of believe it. They're taking away jobs, but they're also creating other jobs. And these people that only knew how to run a check stand and how to take a dollar bill and turn it into quarters for you, now they're going to have to learn how to do something new. But it's education for them. Hopefully it'll give them a little more technology brained and give them a better job than sitting there standing on their feet for 8 hours and swiping this and swiping that and taking a damn coupon that expired last month that grandma swears that she just got in her newspaper yesterday. I got this in my newspaper yesterday. You got to take it. It says your name on it.
But the problem is that
I need that 25 cents.
Are you through? I hope you're through because I'm trying to make a bigger point.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to bring some sanity to this thing. But the economy just is not creating the kind of jobs that
uneducated people can have.
Yeah, they don't need. They certainly don't need a college education. I mean,
the mouth breathers of here, that they're not getting jobs. Yeah, they're going to have to learn. They're actually going to have to go out and get an education and learn how to do something.
Well, they might have to get an education outside of the formal schooling that we go through. Because
tech school,
whatever it may be. But right now, this is for a different time. But I think people need to do some research as to the number of people in college who have degrees or who have college debt that are defaulting on their student loan. The numbers are continuously increasing.
I keep getting emails. I don't have a student loan yet. I keep getting emails saying, "Hey, would you like to pay off your student loan early?"
Well, yeah. In other words, they're assuming that you have one.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they just assume everyone that has an email address has a student loan.
Well, yeah. It's $1.5 trillion in student loans. And guess what?
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah, $1.5 trillion in student loans. And I think it was Brookings Institute that came through. I'm talking off the top of my head, so this is not a prepared part of the show, so people have to bear with me. But I believe it was the Brookings Institute that showed that, or their studies indicated that by 2020 you're going to have over 50% of student loans in default, flat out default. So if the economy was creating the kinds of high-tech or jobs that required college degrees, how can you explain the ever-increasing number of people who are defaulting on their college loans? Doesn't make sense. There's a disconnect here. Anyway, I got a disconnect from you tonight. It was always a pleasure.
Well, Charlie, it's been great. Before you go, I just want to let you know that tonight's episode was brought to you by a fly in my throat. Tonight's episode was brought to you by Heine's Winery. It's Heine's Winery, made in beautiful downtown Yermo, California. If you're not familiar with Heine wine, Heine was established in 1979 by Uncle Harry Heine. He had the idea of putting his Heine in a flip-top disposable can. Family friends convinced him that his Heine was too good to keep to himself. So they bought the warehouse behind the library in Yermo. The rest is history. Since that time, some people all over the area have been enjoying Heine wine. And like they said, you only grow around once in this life. Grab all the Heine you can get. So I want to thank Heine. Charlie, it's been a pleasure with you again today. And thank you for bringing the education and the smarts to this show, because I sure the hell don't. And I will see you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Friday. We're gonna have a show tomorrow again, right?
We're gonna try.
All right, let's do it. Damn it.
We're gonna get our crack. All of our producers online just working all night long, cracking the whip on those guys and gals.
But we got to thank Heine for putting it up for tonight for this episode. And Charlie, it's been a pleasure. I will see you tomorrow, my friend.
Okay.
For everyone here at Crypto the WonderDog, I hope you guys have a beautiful night and a better tomorrow.
Good night.
Hey.